Yeah, it really is my honor and privilege to get to introduce Sophie to you. Sophie, like Brian just said, she serves in middle school, and in so many ways, I look up to Sophie. I learn from Sophie and how she leads her youth, and I'm thankful for Jen, who was her small group leader, who's going to come out and baptize Sophie. It really is just a model of like disciples making disciples, and now Jen will baptize Sophie. I just wanted to say a few things about baptism before Sophie and Jen come out. In Romans 6, verse 4, the Apostle Paul, he writes, "We therefore were buried with Jesus through baptism into death, in order that just as Christ was raised from the dead through the glory of the Father, we too may live a new life." And so baptism is like an act of obedience that proclaims that Jesus is Lord and that he has given us a new life and a living hope. So it's proclaiming a transformation that has occurred. So at the meeting place, we baptize anyone who confesses that Jesus Christ is Lord, that understands that they want to follow him in obedience through baptism, that acknowledge a desire for lifelong discipleship, and that acknowledge their belonging and mutual accountability to the church. And so before Jen baptizes Sophie this morning, she'll ask Sophie to affirm these 4 things about her life, and then Sophie will be baptized, and we get to celebrate with her. And so when you see Sophie be baptized, cheer really loud, because heaven will be cheering with us. Before we do all of this, though, we will have an opportunity to hear a bit of Sophie's story, and so that's exciting. So it really is my pleasure and honor to invite Sophie. Come on onto stage, and would you please share your powerful story with us? Give her a hand.
Hello. So yeah, as Ryan said, I am Sophie, and this is my story. So I've always loved fun and adventure. I love being around people, and growing up, I just wanted to play and have fun, but the girls around me, they always were more grown up than me. I was always the youngest. So throughout my school years, this meant that I struggled to fit in, and I never had close friends. I was abandoned, I was made fun of, and I was ostracized by who I believed to be close friends in my life, and this became a continuous, painful theme in my life. After high school, I finally found a group of friends that also loved to have fun and loved to adventure, just like I did. But the unfortunate thing is that they ended up not being the best influences. In May of 2021, my world kind of got a little shook. My mom's brother ended his life. It was my close cousin's dad, and it shattered my family. I will never forget when my mom found out. And if you know my parents, they're my best friends in the whole world. My family is my everything. And so I really struggled with the heaviness that this brought to my family and them. And eventually the heaviness caught up with me, but I could never put those emotions back on my mom. And so I needed somebody to talk to, and I found a friend, and he needed to talk to somebody too. But instead of talking that night, I was raped. I felt like I had lost everything, including what was so precious to me. And it was just after my uncle's suicide, and so there was no way I could tell my parents or add any more trauma to my mom's life. I was in the deepest and darkest pit of my life that I have ever been in. I felt like I had nothing left. Partying and drinking, it became my new best friend. I would do anything possible to forget what had happened and distract myself. And one day I looked in the mirror and I snapped because I didn't recognize the girl that was looking back at me. And it was really hard. This life, it was no longer fulfilling. It was not sustainable. My relationship with God, it wasn't very good. But I could feel him calling back to me. I was driving home one day from hanging out with these friends, and I just felt compelled to turn the radio on to CHVN. And the song that was playing was Next to Me by Jordan Felice. And if you know the song, the lyrics read, "Child, come on back now, you've been gone too long." And it hit me so hard in my heart, and so I just cried out and I asked God for help. I knew that I needed to start by cutting out these toxic friends from my life. And then I did that, and I enrolled myself back in university. And I knew that the only way to truly experience freedom was to tell my parents what had happened to me. And this was something I never, ever planned on doing. And so I did. And their reaction was the exact opposite of what I thought it was going to be. They were so filled with grace and compassion. And it was an unexplainable experience. My mom and I turned on the song Walking Free by Micah Tyler, and we just sobbed. I gave my life a fresh start. I pursued Jesus. And once again, I was without friends, but this time I wasn't alone. It was incredible. I was on top of the world, so passionate about my faith. And then the enemy quite literally tried to slap it off of me. I was physically assaulted at random by somebody who I did not know, and I had my nose broken in 2 places, and I still need surgery for that. I felt the darkness starting to creep back into my life, but again, this time I wasn't alone. I had God, and I wanted his plan for me, so I sat in my feelings, and I didn't run away this time. And now, today, I desire to read my Bible. I desire to learn about God. I desire the plans that he has for me, and I know that it's good. I leave for YWAM in 5 days, and I'm living the life that I had always admired, but never, ever in a million years imagined for myself. So it took some pretty horrible things to get here today, but I have full peace knowing that my future is in God's hands, because he is so good. Thank you.
Oh, my name. I've been born again into a family. Your blood flows through my veins. I'm no longer a slave to fear. I am a child of God. I'm no longer a slave to fear. I am a child.